Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the IWC Radio Podcast here on YouTube. As my little my set of scenes over here kind of went haywire. I think yeah, there we go. Hold on. There we are. Okay. How you guys doing? Joining me tonight, Chucks and Will, as I try to get everything straightened out over here.
This is a smooth opening.
I know,
We're pros. Like, we said that
we
we haven't learned anything over the last, whatever it is, 270 episodes.
Right? Seriously.
I
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. You?
Yeah, I can't complain. Still locked down.
Yeah, well, things are opening up, and you know, a lot of things over here are also on fire.
Yeah, opening up in all the wrong
Did
ways.
see that? Yeah, that's kind of a bit freaky over there right now, isn't it?
Yeah. What was that?
Was he on fire?
I think the SpaceX rocket has just gone past my window.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I heard about the successful launch after yesterday's test launch. It ended up with like some sort of a rocket exploding.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about the explosion.
Yeah, it was like an unmanned test or something like that. It was I only saw the video of it where it was just on the launch pad, and all of a sudden, you know, it looks like it's getting ready to take off, and then boom, just combusted. So.
All right.
Well, if anything's going to blow up, they got it the right way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know? But if I was an
Did you watch the launch today? The actual, the big one?
I didn't see the one today.
I did, I saw.
I was getting ready to just mention, like, if I saw the one from the previous day exploding on the launch pad, it's probably not a good morale boost to...
Well, no. Especially not since they were going to do it a few days ago, weren't they?
Yeah.
They had to, like, pull it off.
Yeah.
Then in the middle, they blow up a rocket. And now go again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... It's got to be pretty worrying anyway. Even if it goes right, that's you know, a hell of a roller coaster to be on. But
yeah.
Right after your employer just blows something very similar up, and now you've got to go again. So the launch itself was a lot of build-up for what was... I don't know, I don't want to say it was boring.
I know what you mean, yeah.
It was kind of anticlimactic. Like, did you watch the dude jumping out of the air balloon, Felix Baumgartner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was very similar to that. You just watch it go up and up and up and up and up.
I don't know if you've seen the this SpaceX, this Elon Musk company. Before today, they've done a few tests of the Falcon rocket. And there's quite a few videos on YouTube where you can see it coming back when it gets up to space and it comes back again. That's the best bit.
More fun.
That's the best bit of the whole thing.
Yeah.
You get to see it landing, and then tonight watching the live thing, the stream cut out as the thing landed.
Oh,
So they didn't actually get the footage of the landing, but yeah.
That's the amazing bit, when they get it to splash down in the right spot. Like,
well, you saw it live in you know, the camera attached to it, and then it went off for a minute, and the next thing you saw the live shot on the drone ship that it was on.
Yeah.
I missed the best bit.
It's the only bit that I really wanted to see.
Never mind, them two in the rocket, I don't care about them.
It's like a WWE pay-per-view replay where, like, you can see some stills of the match, then you get a blackout screen for the 3 count, and then you're allowed to see a celebration afterwards.
Yeah, that's it.
What the important bit, man. It amazes me that they've got, like, the ISS goes around the Earth once every, like, 90 minutes or something, right? It's flying around. I mean, literally flying around. And they can still pinpoint where something's going to land.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's their job and they're really good at it, but it's kind of amazing when I struggle to get my balled-up socks into the hamper that they can say it's going to land this far off the coast of Florida or whatever. Yeah, it's something.
Somebody I know on Twitter said that they, obviously we're in the UK, around about an hour after it went up, they could see it.
Yeah, so I hear.
I couldn't. I
couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I kind of figured it's one of those things like the supermoon where even if I can see it, there's going to be cooler photos of it next day. Someone will upload a video of it on YouTube in like decent quality through some kind of magnifying scope, you know. Just wait for that.
There you go.
There you go.
So at least give it what are we now? 2020. So give it 10, 15 years, and we'll be going to space.
Well, us, like the three of us, they're going to send
the three
us.
of us.
Yeah.
We're going to do a show on the moon.
Oh, first the moon, then we're going to colonize Mars or whatever. I
did see one tweet say, given what is happening in the world right now, these two guys kind of had the best idea of getting off.
Get the hell away. Yeah.
So it won't be that bad. What the hell was that?
Gone past you as well.
Oh, there goes the rocket, yeah.
There it is. It's going really fast.
What's it like over there, Smoot? I don't really want to ask because I've seen the news, but
over here, I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's been covered and whatnot, but I think the protesting and the Black Lives Matter protests and the stuff with George Floyd and all that is kind of taken the headlines by storm, and as it should, you know.
Oh yeah, obviously it's a serious thing, but it's kind of getting a bit out of hand when they're smashing up CNN offices for no apparent reason.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
But I mean, I saw somebody say that there's no handbook to rioting in a way to get your voice to be heard. So I mean, if that's what they got to do to get attention on this issue, that hey, racism's still unfortunately a thing, and they need to get it out there. I mean, if they have to smash up a CNN office, I mean, do what you got to do.
Yeah. I think if that's what I don't want to be flippant about it, but if they want attention on it, I think they might have it by now.
I mean, you say that, but I mean, I don't know. When's it going to be? Enough's enough, and
it's just, I know what you mean.
I don't know. Just if you're out there protesting, stay safe. I think
be careful. There's protests and then there's just smashing things up for the hell of it.
That's possible. Yeah.
It seems to be that to me. I don't get how looting a Target and stealing cars and spray painting various things. Like there's attention and there's whatever this is.
Yeah. I saw one reporter saying, "Is this people for pent up frustration because they've been in lockdown?"
Probably, but I mean, it's kind of any excuse at this point, and it's not the first time that we've seen this from similar groups.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that may well be part of it, but man, I don't know. Things have to be done because, like, obviously, what happened is no good.
Oh no, it was a terrible thing that happened. But
yeah, and like obviously, totally the police's fault in that case.
Yeah,
but it's one guy, two guys, however many it was there, at fault, and everyone's now paying for it.
Yeah,
for attention. Just it's. I don't know how you can try and get a positive message out by doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a way, and it's like this guy needs a trial, and if he doesn't get it, then there's a problem there.
Yeah,
and we need to work on that thing.
Yeah,
not just raise hell. But hey, what do I know?
It's a mess right now. It's a mess, and
it really is.
I definitely would like to see justice for what happened to Mr. Floyd.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, this has been our spin on real world events.
I think this is possibly the most serious conversation we've ever had.
Right? Yeah.
Did we open last week's episode with like Shad Gaspard?
Oh, that's
Was
true.
that 2
Yeah,
weeks ago? Yeah. This seems to be a thing for us now. To get a bit serious.
Should we get into the predictions? The headlining of the review show and whatnot here.
Oh man, speaking of serious business. Yeah, this show, double or nothing. I could have doubled my score and still ended up with pretty much nothing. Did you both? I guess you both watched the show.
Yes.
I saw most of it live. I saw the rest the next day, but yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, cool. I know we watched the pre-show.
It's a Cherry 7-Up. Sorry.
Cherry 7-Up. Oh, right. Cherry, is that just cherry, or has it got the lemon and lime in it as well?
It's got the lemon and lime in it as well, I think.
Lemon, lime, and cherry.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that works.
I'm an orange tango.
No, a classic.
Traditional classic, yeah.
I have a Coke here with some. What do I put in it? Vanilla coffee syrup.
Oh, that's
vanilla syrup.
You weird again.
Yeah, right. I need to make vanilla Coke one way or another. And I've got it in my freezy mug.
Oh, what's
one of those ones you put in the freezer and it kind of chills like.
Oh, what are they?
Yeah. Like a double glazing with some like frosty something in it.
Never owned one of them. Really good. Good work.
You've got to get one. It's. I feel like I've got a cheap one because I got it Man City branded. So like, the handle and the base are kind of blue tinted and it's got the badge on it. So that's fun. But like, the stuff in the middle, the ice, whatever it is starting to wear away.
Oh.
So like, there's a big hole in it. There looks like kind of little ice cubes all around, and then just a big hole. I don't know how that's happened. And it really sweats isn't the word. Condensates all around the outside. So after 20 minutes or so of using it, you pick it up and it just like pisses all over you, or just runs off. Maybe there's a more expensive brand somewhere out there that will avoid these issues.
So you're telling me you've spent all that money and now it's underperforming? Are you noticing the correlation there?
If only Beans was here. No, actually, I don't see that. You can criticize us for spending as much as you like. There is nothing I can say about it, except for the fact that everyone does seem to perform. The money does seem to actually pay off. A lot more than it does in a lot of cases. I'm looking at Beans wherever he is.
Yeah.
And, if only we had an Arsenal fan, I could also point the finger at them as well.
Sorry, Schmidt, we had a football joke.
I know.
Tell me something. Did he sell Tango in America?
No, there's Fanta.
I didn't think he did. No. I think it's very much a British. I don't know why I said British drink.
I'd say British. That's fine.
I would try that Apple Tango.
Apple Tango is really nice, actually. Yeah.
Apple Tango is the best one, or it always used to be anyway.
It'll be ice cold, but yeah, it's really nice.
Tango is a soft drink originating in the UK. Primarily sold in the UK, Ireland, Sweden, Norway, Hungary, and Malta. First launched by Corona in 1950.
Oh, those bastards.
They've got a lot to answer for.
Yeah, Apple Tango is really, especially in hot weather. You get nice ice cold Apple Tango.
Yeah, Apple Tango I think is. I've started to, when I go to pubs, if I'm driving, instead of just getting Cokes all night. What's that? What's fair point? When I used to, in the before times, go to a pub, and I had to be the driver, I would go for people have an orange juice and lemonade. It's never really my thing, but I'd go for an apple juice and lemonade. That works.
You know, I've never done that, but yeah, I would
you
see
should try that.
Good.
Sometimes you get some weird looks, especially up there in Liverpool, I'd imagine. Get someone saying like, ice so flat, or whatever they used to say in Brookside.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I've practiced. That's what I say in my head, for the last 3 years, whenever you say anything.
Right.
Yeah, apple juice and lemonade. You should give that a go.
I will. Yeah.
Especially on hot weather, like you're saying. That's what
I got 4 bottles of Orange Tango for £1 each, so I thought, why not?
Yeah.
So I'm okay for drinks right now, but yeah, that might be my next drink of choice.
Oh yeah. All right. What are we doing here? Is this our off-topic show that we always talk about doing?
One that we never do.
Yeah, the one that we never do, but we
kind of
think
do.
it's got to be better. All right. Pre-show, we saw this, and
Yep.
I think we all know. You call it, well, best friends. Best friends beat Private Party. I can't believe it.
It's a shot
What they
now, eh?
Yeah.
I have no idea why I picked that, but I think didn't I literally just pick it to be different? I think I did.
I think
I think you might have.
Yeah.
And it paid off. So, the best friends.
Ed's Jonas in the chat said, "What a sluggish match for Private Party." I guess.
Yeah.
It did seem like the match itself kind of dragged on through the pre-show a little bit, like it was just kind of killing time, from what I remember.
I don't remember much about it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's kind of telling.
Yeah.
I was mainly enamored with the video of the slot machine moving around in the background.
Yeah.
I was, cause they had a load of different things on it, including the belts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Belt designs, and I was hoping that the new belt design would come up.
Oh, that would have been
So I
great.
could see how crappy it is. But they obviously didn't have a graphic of it.
That's right, I remember Ed just said that. I remember they hit the Crown Time finisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a nice touch. But
Yeah,
other than that, I don't remember much about it.
I can't say I do either, but the best friends won. They are now #1 contenders for Kenny Omega and Adam Page, who are very much not best friends. Yes. Seems to be getting on a little better lately, but not best friends for sure. So that's a point for Will. Well done.
Yay.
In this new season, you are now 1 for 1. Oh man! Speaking of crazy picks out of nowhere, the main show opened with the Casino Ladder match, which has some pretty wacky rules. It's a Royal Rumble style entry system for a ladder match, which makes no sense to me at all.
No. Yeah, that. I mean, I thought it was a good match actually, but that bit didn't make much sense.
Yeah, especially when I think they stated that somebody could technically win the match before everybody comes out. So you theoretically could have had no mystery person and just had somebody win the belt.
You could have had basically no match, especially when the first two were Kazarian and Scorpio Sky.
Yeah.
I think they're friends. They could just, either we'll both bring it down together, or you can have it. Just whatever. You're friends.
Yeah.
But they decided not to for some reason. That's one of them things. Do I have the entry order? Nah, it doesn't matter. So, Darby Allin was there. He was the favourite. I think we all predicted him, except Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Joe Janela, Scorpio Sky, and Kazarian, Kip Sabian, Luchasaurus, a whole load of guys. And then the mystery entrant, we knew there was at least one mystery guy. Smoot chose the first mystery entrant, and is Brian Cage with Taz.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Taz is with them, but it seems to be working.
Neither was JR. He didn't quite make that clear enough during the show. He said that about 15 times. Why is Taz with him? What's he there for? Shut up, JR.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with JR on the show.
No?
We'll get into it. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Excellent.
Real quick though, just speaking of the. Actually, no. Keep going. Sorry.
What are we going to say about this one? Darby Allin, the favourite. Brian Cage comes and swoops, wins the big poker chip, and maybe that set something up since Taz was interviewing Darby Allin a week or so ago, kind of giving him a bit of crap for losing to Cody.
Yeah. Darby Allin still alive because he did nearly kill himself.
Yeah.
Jumping off that ladder.
Doing that crazy skateboard spot, yeah.
What were you going to say, Smooth? I want to know what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm interested.
I'll save it for the TNT Championship.
Oh, right. We have to speed through the next one then. So that's Brian Cage wins. Smoot gets a point. None of us do. So this is a really bad night for me and Bean so far.
I'm gonna be really stupid now because I don't know much about Brian Cage. Was he on Impact? Was he?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
He's done Impact. He did Lucha Underground.
Right, okay.
He was also back in the day when TNA was doing those New York shows. I think he was on a couple of them, and I remember Tenay and Taz of all people, just not even treating the match seriously. They were more talking about other stuff. From what I recall.
I've heard the name, but I've just never seen much of him. But...
Yeah, he's one of those kind of up until he signed with NXT. I thought Adam Cole was kind of like that. Seems like he's really big on the indies and never seems to make it anywhere. Never makes it to the top. And why not? There's not really any good reason for it. But hopefully there's something for him. I think the first time I saw him was in TNA, where it's a weird one because the guy's huge.
Yeah.
But
he is big, yeah.
For a big guy, he's not that big. He's like a bodybuilder. He's obviously pumped, but he just seems like a short guy. I'm looking at it now. He's actually apparently 6 foot and 260, 268. so no, he's huge. But I don't know if when he debuted he stood next to Kevin Nash or something, and I just always thought of him as just a really cut cruiserweight. But no, he's bigger than I think.
Yeah.
Especially in 2020. Where are we going? MJF with Wardlow. He beat the Jungle Boy. I don't really care because I just want to see Wardlow and Luchasaurus in a match.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
This one went pretty long, I thought, but I think Jungle Boy needs to start winning some matches here, especially if he's going up against the TNT Championship holder.
Yeah.
Coming up on this Wednesday's Dynamite, which I'm going to check out.
Yeah, not much to this one. This was a match for MJF to win, and he did. So that's a points all round, except for Beans, who thought Jungle Boy was going to do it. I don't know why. And yeah, you're right, 17-ish minutes. So that's quite a long one. Then, this is the one. You're going to say your thing now. I can't wait. Cody beat Lance Archer in the tournament final, 22 minutes. Cody is the TNT champion. And I know I didn't get this one right. You all did, so, well done.
Hey, thank you. Before the show, there was a group photo with Tony Khan and everybody, where they were just surrounded by Mike Tyson with the championship. Who, by the way, with Mike Tyson, he didn't want to give up that title. I feel it looked like he just wanted to hold on to it and just forever be the title holder of the TNT Championship. Any issues with this photo being posted practically before the show started or anything like that? Because I'm sure there's some people out there like, oh my god, kayfabe, bro.
Yeah, someone bounce. I don't myself. I think anyone who anyone who's in the know,
you know, bro.
Cameras. Well, yeah.
Personally, I didn't have a problem with that. I thought it was pretty cool that they would show that.
Yeah.
But I feel like Tony Khan could have waited until the actual match was coming up, so he could have at least held off on what does the championship look like? You know.
Tony Khan looks like a child in that photo.
He kind of does, yeah.
But no, that's not wrong with that, really.
Yeah, I didn't think there was anything wrong.
It's a strange one because I see the argument.
Yeah.
It's not good for the show to have that out there, but you know that these guys are just actors, so.
I think it would be weirder if it was posted after the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, like, do you need to post it? It's kind of one of them things that it doesn't help, so why do it?
I feel like it's for me, it's like, okay, I don't care that everybody's all buddy-buddy. I mean, it's a TV program. There's, as Will said, they're basically actors. I just think that, you kind of... There was some elusiveness to what the title actually looked like. And...
Yeah.
That was your problem? That you kind of wanted the...
Yeah, I wanted the reveal to be a little bit more impactful. Rather than, if you paid attention to social media, you can see what it looks like during the show. That's just my aim.
Isn't it unfinished anyway?
Yes, that is correct. It's also unfinished. That is very true.
Good, because it looks unfinished. It looks kind of a bit too plain.
Yeah, apparently the gold platers can't do it right now because of
the virus.
Yeah. So they kind of wait until they can.
Prototype belt. I've also seen in the comments here, Tony Khan, like the richest guy in the ring. Well, actually, no, Mike Tyson's there. He's got me loaded too.
He looks old, by the way. I know he is, but
Well, he is old, but he also looks incredible for as old as he looked.
Yeah, true. I think Dynamite this past Wednesday was like of that.
I open it. Tony Khan is replying to just random guys.
Really?
Or is he?
This
guy's got a tick. Who's Matthew Ross?
I don't know.
I don't know. Apparently he's just a guy. And he has feminist in his bio, so that's something. So he has said maybe don't post a group shot where you're touching each other when social distances is what's needed. And Tony Khan actually replies to this for some reason, saying we've all been tested and cleared to work closely on a TV set together. We needed to stand between these guys for the publicity photo to keep the opponents separated. Thank you for following the show.
One thing I love about Tony Khan's, especially his Twitter, is obviously he's got his thing is the family-owned Fulham as well.
Yeah.
Fulham FC. So on the one tweet, you've got a picture of him standing there with Mike Tyson and a lot of wrestlers. The next tweet's about how Fulham got promoted from the Championship. I just love the correlation between the two.
There's another shot of the belt, by the way. Also, I like that they posted its stat line in the lower thirds there. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, this match happened. And speaking of Mike Tyson, he had a bevy of emotions here all throughout it. There was here. Let me see if I can link this here. Hold on. Let's go back up. He was happy. At one point, he was yawning like he was bored. There we go. They quickly cut away after he was yawning, by the way. I thought that was hilarious. And then he was cheering, I think, Cody on. And then eventually he got up, took his shirt off, and he just started posing behind Cody and Lance there. So, there's an influx of emotions there, I feel. Oops.
So he is 53. I actually thought he was older than that. 53. Yeah.
He seemed like he had a great time.
he's a huge wrestling fan, so he probably did have a great time.
Yeah.
I imagine he's probably being paid all right for it as well.
Yeah, probably.
He really needs it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Ed says at one point he knocked on Arn for interfering. That's true. That's true. He wanted him thrown out. He's like, get out of here, Arn. Tyson didn't know what to do. Yeah, that's probably true. He's just, hey, just enjoy the show, you know?
I was wondering, I totally forgot that he knocked Jericho out, didn't he, on Raw a few years ago?
Yeah, Jericho brought that up on Dynamite this week.
I think he posted it up on Twitter before that, and I was wondering what he was talking about, so I googled it and I found the segment. Just completely forgot all about that.
Same here, actually.
It was when Hornswoggle was part of DX.
Yeah, we don't talk about those days.
Exactly.
I never did buy a World's Littlest Member t-shirt.
Good.
Good. I missed my chance.
That was where he got fired. You didn't buy a shirt.
Yeah. His whole career was hinging on that one sale.
That was just the second time, actually, Hornswoggle's come up for me this week. This is the first time he actually mentioned, Undertaker mentions him in the latest episode of The Last Ride. Apparently he's crap at playing cards.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think a leprechaun would be really lucky.
Well, yeah.
So that's points for everybody except Chuck's here, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I ruined that one. On the subject of Mike Tyson, though, before we go too far, there was a Russo show with Disco.
Oh, no.
Where they talked a little bit about Tyson. Disco said that Tyson was like a huge, or at least, quite a big deal, like a really good, signing's not the word, but the appearance was like quite a big deal for AEW. Because Mike Tyson's kind of like in the middle of a comeback. People are kind of talking about him a little bit here and there now. So this is actually like a really good move.
Right.
I was wondering if you guys agree, because to me, I haven't really heard a lot about Tyson, only that he did a video here and there, and like there's some rumors about Holyfield.
Yeah.
It's like this isn't WrestleMania 14 again. I don't know how much it's really gonna move business.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you look at the ratings, once again, AEW beat out NXT. So, they're doing something right in that regard. People are kind of tuning in to see what Mike Tyson's up to.
But they always beat NXT.
That's true. That's very true. This is the downside of not having actual fans at the shows, but even before this whole pandemic started, NXT was kind of getting trounced on by AEW, I believe.
I think that's probably a big reason. I think if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, I think it might be bigger news because everything else seems to be getting put on the back burner right now.
Yeah.
Whereas if we weren't, I think that might actually make some decent mainstream news. But right now everything's COVID. So
yeah,
I think that's probably why no one's really mentioned it.
I still find it weird that there's no sport and everyone's kind of clamoring for some sport. The first thing that comes back is going to be huge. We're all just waiting for the football season to restart. And yet wrestling can't. They've never done worse. They can't seem to get any interest at all.
That is really weird, yeah.
I figured, like, captive audience, surely this is going to do it right.
You'd think so, wouldn't it?
Worse than it's ever been.
Yeah. Even UFC did kind of a better job than pro wrestling.
UFC did pretty well, apparently. It's a good show.
Yeah. That's because of all the hype behind Fight Island, I feel.
Yeah, I really like Fight Island.
You should do that anyway, never mind being a pandemic.
Yeah.
Just buy an island, stick an arena on it. Be great.
Alright, let's move on to... So that's Cody winning the belt. We got Chris Statlander beating Penelope Ford, who was a substitute for... Who got injured?
Oh, Britt Baker.
Britt Baker,
that's right. Baker's leg. And I think we all predicted, Chris Statlander, the alien, she wins. That was that.
I didn't like how JR kept implying that Chris Statlander was thick, if you will.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What was the one line? I know there was one where he said something along the lines of like, "Oh, she casts a really big shadow."
Oh God!
Yeah.
That's the worst way to say that.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it here. I'm quickly trying to scroll through. I was like, "What the fuck, JR?"
She kind of is a little thick, especially when you're in there with Penelope Ford. But like,
right.
do you need to say that? You say she's got like a strong vertical base, or I don't know, something like strong legs or whatever. You don't say she casts a big shadow.
Yeah, the first thing he said was this was early in the match. He said that thing that has impressed me with Statlander, and I don't mean this in a chauvinistic way, but she's a big woman.
God, even that. She's muscular.
Yeah, and then she did like an over-the-rope move or whatever to the outside onto Penelope. And then Shivani said something like, the size of Statlander taking flight, and then JR says, she casts a large shadow in the air. Like, you don't say that, you know? I was getting really mad at him for that. Like, what the fuck?
No.
And in the chat there says, Nyla Rose by comparison, and JR thinks Chris is a bigger woman. Yeah, I know, right? Like,
yeah, he never says that kind of stuff about Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
Although he does call her King of the Mountain. So
did he really?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That was his comment when she won the belt. That Nyla Rose is now King of the Mountain.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
I mean, that one was like a slip. I give him the benefit of the doubt, but I mean, really, you gotta be so careful.
Oh yeah, that was another thing. Hold on, let me see if I can find it here. Going back to the previous match with Arn and Jake the Snake, there was a spot where, what was it? Jake said something outside to, I think, Arn, like he called him a bitch or whatever, and JR's like, does he hate women? I was like, no? Like, what?
Right. So then we had Sean Spears coming out and saying that apparently Dustin Rhodes wasn't there and he was winning by count out or something.
Yeah, he was trying to. Yeah, he's trying to be like, oh, he's not here. He took his ball and went home.
And then he was just there.
Yeah,
so
he looked like.
I really didn't understand.
He looked like he was the camera guy.
Yeah.
The way he came into the ring.
Showed up from behind the camera. Yeah, I didn't get this. I didn't hear anything about Dustin Rhodes not being there.
Well, supposedly, if he didn't win in the tournament, he was going to retire. So he didn't win, so he should have retired. Yet he still showed up and has a career.
Well, I mean, this match was still advertised.
Yeah.
So obviously he's not retired. So
yeah.
What was Sean Spears think? Can you just say that about anyone at any time? Like if Hogan doesn't show up in the next 10 seconds, I beat him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't really understand that one. But Dustin Rhodes beat him in 3 minutes. It was a nothing. And Beans was the only one to get this one right. We all thought that Sean Spears was on the up, but apparently not.
Yeah, and I also didn't appreciate Dustin Rhodes just basically disrobing Sean Spears to where his like ass was hanging out for a majority of the match. And he had
that was funny. You didn't like the ass spot.
No, he also had Tully Blanchard on his underwear, which is pretty
Yeah.
weird.
It was weird. I don't know why he's got that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was funny. It's bum. Ric Flair used to do it all the time.
And in the chat says, I won't forget Jake saying to Arn in the Go Home Dynamite, "You're looking a little thick." God. Yeah.
Right, point for Beans, and then we move on to a no DQ, no count out match for the women's title. Nyla Rose losing to Hikaru Shida.
Yeah.
So she didn't actually hold that belt very long.
At one point, I mean, Nyla Rose was like, always bet on black, and had we done that, we would have lost. I'm putting it out there, I mean.
Yeah, she did say that.
It says, remember when Shawn Spears left WWE because he was getting no airtime? I mean, he's getting airtime. Like, he's probably one of the more standout people in the crowd, especially with the bricks that said make noise. And what was it this past week? He had a golf cart and he was just honking the horn all throughout the show. So, I mean, he's getting airtime.
Yeah, it's a shame he's not kind of doing something more important, though.
Yeah.
But at least he's there. He's getting on TV. Of the low card talent, he's kind of the guy. You know, he's not a librarian.
Yeah.
Got that going for him. He's actually getting onto pay-per-views. Right, where are we going now? Shida's new champion, so that's cool. None of us get a point. And then Wikipedia's actually got Brody Lee written as Mr. Brody Lee. You have to call him Mr. World Championship, AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley defended successfully against Mr. Brody. And that is points all round.
Yeah. I mean,
Nothing.
Speaking of the librarians, at one point Brody Lee just chucked their little table that their computer was resting on. That's about the only thing I remember from this match. If there was, let's see here, I'm just gonna check my notes. Oh yeah, this started off with the security guys in the ring for some reason. That had the acronym of SAFE for some reason.
Security and something enforcement.
I guess that sounds logical.
Security armed forces. No, you're gonna have a forces enforcement. This makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember anything about this match.
Let me see. There was a spot that involved the stage where, like, the referee was like, "Mox, bring it into the ring," and Moxley just DDTs him through the stage.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was a bit early, but I do remember from wrestling.
Oh, and also, JR said something along the lines of, just basically kind of shitting on Dasha. Like she did a very tame, John Moxley, like Justin Roberts does. And he just immediately pointed out how Justin Roberts, does that, and then it goes on and says, "We miss Dustin."
We miss Dustin?
Yeah.
Dustin? Jeez.
I think JR is getting to the point of senile, if you ask me.
Definitely getting there.
He's really struggling. So I guess Double or Nothing isn't AEW's biggest pay-per-view of the year, right? Because they said that was whatever the last one was.
Revolution.
I kind of felt like it should be Double or Nothing because it was the first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
In which case, Jon Moxley and Mr. Brody Lee have wrestled on WrestleMania and now Double or Nothing. They just need to wrestle again at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
All the big shows.
Yeah, Mox got him with like some sort of submission hold, and Brody was basically rendered unconscious and therefore lost the match. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is it.
And then we get to the meat and potatoes of the night, the Stadium
Main
Stampede.
event of the evening. Yeah. I don't know where to start with this one. So the Elite, Adam Page was there. They teased for a second that he wasn't going to be there, but he showed up, so that's cool. The Inner Circle all had football like padding and helmets on.
Yeah.
It's just
honestly, they should have won because of that alone.
Yeah, they made an effort.
If you ask me, yeah.
So, I mean, there was all sorts of pyro and ballyhoo in this one. This bout was one heck of a ring ding dong dandy, as Gordon Soley would say. And, God, where'd you even start? So there was a 100-yard Northern Light suplex chain.
Yes.
In here somewhere.
Yeah.
There was a tasteless drowning sequence there with Matt Hardy.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
I was kind of on the same boat with the fact that it was like it seems a little too soon given what happened to Shad Gaspard. But then Matt Hardy changed personas and it was okay. It just became like a baptism.
Kinda, yeah. Even though there was a point at which he was floating there, and Ortiz, I think, yelled, "He's dead."
He's dead. Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Don't really need that, but okay. I guess it was for the jokes, and he did it. He came up as, was it Big Money Matt at one point?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Yeah.
Great.
Broken Matt, classic Matt, Big Money Matt. And I like how they were able to see it on the. They were breaking the fourth wall, basically, and they were able to see the on-screen graphic.
Oh,
Yeah.
the old version 1 graphic.
Yeah.
So that was great. We had, what else happened in here? Someone at one point drew a line over Chris Jericho.
Yeah. the No Mercy rock bottom onto the pool table.
Right. Yeah, there was a spot with them drinking. And in the end, Sammy Guevara ran away from a golf cart again.
Yeah.
That's their new favourite thing. And he escaped, but ended up taking a huge one-winged angel through something, kind of off the stands into something. I don't know what it was.
A bunch of cardboard.
A few tables or whatever. So the good guys win, and they dump the Gatorade over him. So that was fun. And what happened? What have I got here? Inner Circle. So you two, Smoot and Will, get a point. Me and Pete's not so much. I thought it was good. Half an hour long. There's another one of these wacky kind of cinematic matches, but getting into this whole thing.
Fun.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty entertaining to watch. I had no quarrels with it whatsoever. If anything, if I had to nitpick anything besides JR being weird, I would say the show kind of ran long, but like I think that's pretty much unfortunately expected with AEW. They just don't know how to time their shows that well. So.
Do you know how long it actually was?
It ended around, I think, what was it, 12 o'clock, 12:30? I think. I don't know if there's
So what would that be? 3.5 or 4.5?
If it started at 8, I think it's 4.5.
Wow, it didn't seem that long to me. I think did I watch it in 2 halves? I at least watched the pre-show the night before.
Yeah, I did it in 2 halves, so it didn't seem that long ago.
Money in the Bank was like 2.5 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was over in no time. It's great.
That's because Vince's new gimmick is he doesn't like long shows anymore.
Yeah.
So who has been talking him into doing these long shows? I need to know the answer to this.
Probably Kevin Dunn or someone.
Yeah.
So at the end of this one, this is the first show of the new AEW season, and I'm not happy about it. 9 matches predicted here. I got 3 of them right. And it was the 3 easy ones too. It was the 3 that basically all got right. Beans then got 4 because he also got Cody. And you two, both of you, joint first, out in front, 6 out of 9. Smooch starts off over 50%, and I don't like how it feels on this side.
Yeah, welcome to the club. It's almost as if, I know what I'm talking about and how booking should be done with this, with wrestling, or at least for this company, So there you go. 4-6-3-6 are the scores. Right, we get out of that, and then there we go. So
What was Beans listed first on your table there?
I don't know. I think he was hosting the show at that point, and then I was like, we'll make him first. Why not? I don't know. I mean, I could rearrange it if it matters.
Just kind of, well, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't. I just kind of thought you might put yourself there.
No.
No, never. No.
Yeah. Well, it is also
not that kind of guy.
Yeah, not that kind of guy. Sorry.
I am. I put myself first on that. My version.
I was asking why there was no interference, presumably in the Mr. Brody Lee and Moxley match. That's a good question. I don't know if
no DQ or something like that.
No, but the refereeing was kind of flexible to where they're going out into the stands, things like that. They were using weapons and tables and things like that. So I mean, I guess they could have had some interference because it was a title match, but
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
What else have we got? We're going on to some WWE stuff.
One thing I wanted to kind of come on to that, I suppose, as well, is the having just that small crowd, if you can call it a crowd, at AEW makes a world of difference.
It does.
It just creates a bit of an atmosphere, and I mean they were chanting along and stuff, and during the pay-per-view, it just makes it's just so much better than what WWE were doing, because as we saw from Monday on Raw, they've invented their own crowd. This is what they've wanted to do for years. They can now control the crowd.
It's true.
They can have them do anything they like. But I don't like the hockey screens. They're a bit weird.
Yeah, that was a strange one. I guess it makes sense, but yeah, it was.
You say that, but as we're going to get into it, when we get to the end of Raw. You say it makes sense. I'll bring a point up.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. It doesn't make sense at all. I kind of think of them at like supermarkets and stuff. Yeah, okay, I see why you do that. But yeah, in wrestling, maybe are you really going to sneeze at the ring? Like,
it's not just that, but we'll get right to it. If you've seen the end of Raw, and there was the Drew McIntyre and Lashley fighting, basically, and then they had to get some of the rookies to pull them apart.
Oh, right.
So they've been stood 6 feet away from each other all night, and then they've run and get in the ring and they're stood right next to each other. And then they start shouting for more people.
Yeah, I've got nothing. Can't explain that one.
I mean, to use your supermarket analogy, you're quite right, yeah. They do work in supermarkets, but I'm not going to run round the other side and start smacking her in the face. So, there you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if it was WWE's controlled crowd, it made things much better than just having nothing. So, I'm all for it.
Yeah, speaking of WWE, they finally got on board with the whole having, wrestlers in the crowd area, but this time they put them behind plexiglass. And
We've just been talking about this.
Where have you been?
Did you mention that? I'm sorry.
That's what we've been talking about this whole.
You had a stroke.
I'm playing the role of JR and being senile. I'm sorry. Good Lord. I apologize. I was distracted. Sorry. I was catching up on some of the real world events. Yeah, the plexiglass is weird. You don't. You probably, if you actually tested the talent there, you probably wouldn't need the plexiglass. And I don't know why a $1 billion company isn't testing their employees.
I don't get. I don't.
Independent
honestly.
Sorry.
I don't actually believe they're not testing. To be honest with you, I think they probably are. I don't know where that story comes from. They weren't. But I think it's more to show they're doing something. It's something people can actually see. So they look good, basically.
Yeah,
I don't like it, but I think that's probably why they're doing it.
I don't like it either, especially when a rival company is doing a better job showcasing that, hey, we can, we are testing people in attendance, and they're safe to be next to each other and whatnot. Not a fan. Not a fan.
Well, do you think it could also be like it's another step on from, so this whole thing happened to everyone at the same time, and both companies had to react in some way. So they both went to empty arena to keep the shows running. AEW straight away realized we want the camera to face the stage, not empty seats. It took WWE a couple of extra weeks before they realized, we should probably do that.
Yeah.
Then AEW put some people, some trainees or whatever, other wrestlers in around the ring. It took WWE, 2 months to catch up to that? It almost feels like they didn't want to do it because it looked so much like they were copying.
Yeah.
I think maybe the plexiglass is like, well, if we're going to do something, we've got to do it now. Like, whatever the next step is, we're going to do it, whether it makes sense or not. Let's do more stuff before they do.
I know, plexiglass.
There is...
Yeah, exactly. Screens everywhere.
They could possibly be in preparation for letting fans in, which would make kind of sense.
That would make a lot more sense.
So,
could be.
I mean, it's gonna be obviously a limited number of fans, but
if you're having fans back in,
but as I've just said to Chuck, then WWE have wanted this for years. They can control the crowd now. They can get them to chant and boo whenever they like.
That's true. That's very, very true.
So, but I don't. Just saying then, when you weren't listening to me.
Sorry.
If you caught the end of Raw with the segment with Lashley and McIntyre, and they had that big pull-apart brawl, it just made a total mockery of the restrictions because they were calling all the trainees into the ring, so they weren't observing social distancing or anything. They were stood right next to each other in the ring. He's not listening again, is he?
I don't know where he's gone.
I'm still here. I'm with you. I agree. I don't know. I'm wondering if maybe with the pull apart, they were like Dynamite might have been like, hey, let's have a pull apart for our show with Tyson there, and then
Huh.
which would be a lame thing to copy, but I don't know. It just
Now, I think they would have been copying the Austin Tyson
yeah.
pull apart.
I think that's probably a more prominent
Oh yeah.
thing. I don't think I doubt anybody's being like, oh, they're stealing from Raw or whatever.
Not so much.
But
What else do you do if you've got a celebrity involvement other than a pull apart? What else can you do?
Mm.
Just have him knock Jericho out, I guess, is an option. But the pull apart's it's more visual.
If only Dynamite had plexiglass in the ring.
Yeah, you could slam him through the plexiglass.
Yeah, there you go.
It's bulletproof, but not Jericho proof.
Exactly.
It's like the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, the whole thing with the plexiglass and maybe bringing fans in, I mean, that's a good idea, but I still think you should be testing people. And you should probably, and that's one thing that AEW's been kind of transparent with, just like plexiglass, is that they've been saying that for these shows, for the live shows, that everybody's practicing social distancing, everybody's been tested, everything's good. I think WWE should do the same. I know that they do not want to acknowledge COVID, like they, like COVID fucking is Benoit or something. But I think they need some sort of transparency to kind of, put out there that like, hey, things are not normal right now, but we're trying to make things more normal. So we've gone ahead and made sure and followed the following precautions to make sure everybody here is safe, and pretty soon we'll have live fans also practicing the same precautionary measures that we've been doing. And that's basically the best way that I can say for WWE to not acknowledge COVID. So
At what point do you think that people, like critics, are going to be okay with fans being live? I just can't imagine anyone ever saying, yeah, you know what, that's cool. Because every move Vince makes, WWE makes, everyone's just, well, I can't believe they're not testing, or I can't believe they're allowing, I can't believe they're still running shows. I can't believe that Florida considers them an essential business. I can't believe they're still I can't believe they're punishing Sami Zayn for not coming in. It's like, I don't think there's one thing that they've been credited for in the whole thing. And like, as soon as they bring, like, I don't know how long it can be. They could wait till Christmas before bringing people back, and someone will still say, can't believe they're doing it already.
Yeah. I think maybe to answer the question of like when WWE can, be praised instead of criticized, I think probably when a vaccine is introduced, and even then, I don't think people are willing to get a vaccine, especially the whole.
Well, nobody's going to give them autism. Like, haven't you heard?
God, that's what I was getting into. Yeah.
Even if they test all of their own employees, even if there was some way to guarantee that they are all clear and wrestling is not an issue, they're still encouraging fans to come, and they can't guarantee that everyone there is going to be safe. So even then, like, they've done everything they could possibly do, and it's still going to be a bad thing to bring people back.
I think a couple of months down the line, and hopefully we're in a much better position all over, then I think you'll start to see opinions turning, and you'll probably get people to say, when are they going to start, I don't
know. I kind of feel like they are going to want to be the first to bring people back. They don't want this to go on any longer than it has to. And
When
there's
does
still going to be, obviously, opinion is split in society anyway as to what we should be doing and how much we should be doing it.
Yeah.
But like, even when like there is an all clear and the government says, just fine, just live as normal, everything's great, I think there's still going to be some people saying, I just don't feel comfortable going out without a mask on.
I think
it's going to take a long
anyway.
time. Yeah.
I think you're going to get people doing that just in general life. I won't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
It'd still be...
But I think the people not doing that are going to outweigh the people who will, to be honest.
That's probably true. But then, like, there's a difference between getting people together for... that's still getting people together. But, like, the things that are more safe in terms of, having a lot of people together... A wrestling show, or any kind of live sport, I guess, is about as bad as you can get in terms of safety from spreading, right? So you could open a restaurant, and that will probably be all right. I think people will kind of be more okay with a restaurant. I just can't imagine at what point, how long is it going to take for sports to be considered to like for people not to question it,
Yeah. Oh, I think it'll always get questioned, even if they wait till next year.
You think?
I think
it's always going to be there now.
It'll always be. What are you doing that for? Why?
Maybe.
But they're just gonna have to. It's not just wrestling. It'll be any sport. They're just gonna have to go. Well, this is what we did before, and that's what we do.
I can still imagine WWE doing this stuff and really pushing it before the NBA.
Well, I had a thought about this. I might be wrong. Yeah. They're saying the sort of official advice is that the virus doesn't replicate as much. It doesn't transmit as much outside if you're outdoors.
Sure. Makes sense.
Now, I think that the kind of targeting SummerSlam is the big event to get fans back in.
Yeah.
But
see,
we've
already too soon.
Well, maybe. But here's my plan.
Oh, you've got a plan.
They've already said that it's not happening in Boston. I think the Boston governor said no.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
They owe Florida a pay-per-view.
That's true. They do. Yeah.
In an open air stadium.
Oh.
What if they said we're doing it in? What was it? The Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah, which you're getting into NFL territory.
Well, yeah, but then it's an open air. It's gonna be better to do it there than it would be in an indoor arena.
It's true.
Officially, if you follow on the guidelines. Maybe they don't sell it out. Maybe they only put half the place up for, sale. But I don't know.
That does seem about as good as you can do. That's not that far away, is it?
No. You mentioned the NFL there. When's the NFL back? When does that start again?
That's a question.
That's a good question.
Sorry,
if it was going to start on time, it would be
when it's supposed to be back.
Let's see here.
I think August is the usual.
Yeah. Well, the regular season, I think, starts in September, but they usually have the preseason games before that.
There you go, September 10th, the actual season will be. Yeah.
I think that'll be a big factor if the NFL start letting people in.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone on the post show for Double or Nothing said basically they don't know when they'll have fans back, and he said they kind of suspects, in his personal opinion, that everybody's just waiting to see what the NFL does. So
yeah, I can see that.
So I've heard a rumor, and please tell me it's not true, but the NFL are considering piping in fan noise to an empty arena.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
God.
That is
the
worst.
Laugh at this.
Yeah.
I've seen the cardboard cutout fans, and I've seen the South Korean sex dolls, but something about the noise without the people is even creepier.
Well, apparently
great band
I've not
names,
seen
by
it.
the way. Great band names.
You know the German Bundesliga has been started about 2 weeks ago now. Thankfully, it's not happening here, but on the German broadcaster, which I think ironically is actually Sky.
Sky, yeah.
They have a red button option for crowd noise.
Oh, jeez, optional.
So you can, and I believe they've not said as much, but I believe Sky are considering it for the Premier League as well. So it's not totally out there.
I don't want it. It can't work. They would have to have someone there to hit the goal scored button, right?
God,
I can't just have the SmackDown hairdryer on for the whole thing.
Yeah.
No matter what happens.
Well, apparently there's an app that they're looking into that fans can vote. So if your team's doing well and is doing well in the vote, they'll be louder and you'll hear them more. And obviously vice versa.
So like that scene on The Simpsons where the kids are watching cartoons and voting.
Yeah.
And one kid really likes the Speedo guy.
But yeah, apparently, I can't remember what it's called, but apparently someone from the Premier League said they were generally looking into using it. So, I don't know.
Also, the Super Bowl for this year is actually going to be at Raymond James Stadium, February 7th, 2021, in Tampa, Florida.
Really?
So, yeah. It's crazy.
Maybe they don't.
I want to see this fan reaction app where I can vote for chanting "Your shit and you know you are." Be on there.
Like I say, it wouldn't work in WWE. And now they can control the crowd. This is when Reigns should be back in. He can get cheered.
It would be so over.
Be the most over person ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, going back to the idea of them letting them in again, maybe they don't. Okay, they all Florida a pay-per-view. Maybe they don't use the big stadium. Is there a smaller outdoor arena they could use in Florida? I don't know. Maybe there's.
There must be
something a bit smaller, because you're right, it probably was 80,000. That's probably a bit too many. But I don't know, maybe they could do 5,000, maybe. I don't know. Just shouting out numbers now, to be honest.
Well, how many American football teams are there in Florida? There's 2 or 3, right? There's the Dolphins and the Jags and the. Is there another one?
There's the Buccaneers, the Jaguars, the Dolphins.
Buccaneers, right? Dolphins, yeah. So, one of them would be free, wouldn't it?
See, AEW, isn't that Daly's place technically outside?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm guessing they can't use that.
No, but AEW could.
Well, they are.
Yeah, I can't see Raw coming from Daly's place anytime soon.
That'd be great, though. That'd be so
Great
weird
invasion.
if they were actually able to come from Daly's place.
So imagine if wrestling companies could work together and what a world.
August 6th is the first preseason week or whatever. I believe.
Right.
So that's just a wait and see type of situation. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think we'll be. It's either going to go one or two ways. We're either going to be really back in the shit again,
which is what I'm thinking is going to happen,
or we'll be out of it by then. So,
hopefully we'll be out of it, but I don't think I don't think
I don't know.
I don't know. I without a vaccine, I don't think this thing's gonna probably linger for a while.
I was listening to some professor guy. I can't remember his name, but he was under the illusion, if it is that you may not need a vaccine. It could just wipe itself out because it's not getting transmitted as much.
Yeah, I mean that would happen eventually.
That's what he says.
When it runs through everyone, and whoever's going to die dies, and whoever doesn't.
Well, he seemed to think that it was, from what they've already found out, it's already happening in London. That they're getting no cases at all, and it's not being transmitted.
Is that true?
So, I did see something the other week that they've had no new cases for like 3 or 4 days. So, obviously we're still getting the deaths, but they're behind anyway. So
yeah.
But yeah, he was on the sort of everywhere follows London, and that has been the case up to now. Whereas all the stats seem to London's like 2 weeks ahead. So if everywhere follows London, then it could replicate and not replicate. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's something. Because the conspiracy I've heard is that it's all going to kick off again in November. That's going to be like the second peak or whatever.
I've read, the other thing I've read that it's not, because it's.
Well, I mean, those are the two options.
Yeah. One or the other, isn't it?
I would bet on one of those happening.
But that was the other thing he was saying, because obviously they've looked at stats and whatever from the likes of China and the countries that got it first. And the second peak that they predicted hasn't happened. They've had little spikes here and there, but nowhere near as bad as it was.
Yeah, but stats from China.
It wasn't just China; it was other places as well that he talked about. He mentioned countries that had already had it, and they were saying it all seems to be everywhere seems to be following the same kind of pattern. Whereas we get a huge spike and then it slowly just drops off.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
I mean, I was fingers crossed that'd be great.
But then, are all of those countries also doing similar things with the lockdowns and the distancing? And then, have they got to the opening up phase yet?
Yeah, well, I think Japan is like totally open now.
Really?
Yeah, they lifted their state of emergency like 3 or 4 days ago. There's a few others you mentioned. Australia is not as locked down. Things are still locked down, but they're not as locked down as they were. The only bad thing I've seen was Sweden. Sweden didn't actually do a lockdown, and their deaths have shot up in the last week or so. So they're kind of getting crap for not doing a lockdown now. So much so, I think all the surrounding countries have closed the borders to Sweden. Because they're all actually doing okay now, apart from Sweden. So, because Sweden thought they were kind of laughing at everybody when everyone was on lockdown, saying we're not, but then
yeah, we're fine.
Now it's gone the other way. So, but yeah, I mean, I can't remember this guy's name. He's not very well known, but he seemed to know what he was talking about, and he was saying everyone seems to be following the same kind of pattern, and he doesn't see any reason why it wouldn't change.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That was the COVID-19 update for the week.
There you go.
With absolutely no good information,
just pure speculation.
Total speculation. Totally uneducated. Things might happen.
Things might not happen.
Things might not happen.
Fact check that Twitter.
I'm going back to work for like half hours as of next week. So there's like 3 of us that do this job, and we're kind of splitting the hours of the week up and trying not to cross over, and it's opening just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm ready for it. I've had 2 weeks off, and I feel like I kind of need another one.
Well, I say I'm back in work because I've been off for ages before the lockdown.
Yeah.
I'm back working from home as of this week, just gone. But I'm kind of enjoying it, actually. It's weird.
Yeah.
I'll stop enjoying it eventually, and it'll be horrible. But
today is not one of those days.
I'm enjoying the 5-minute travel to work.
Yeah, right.
That's great. I was in work at 8 o'clock on one morning, and I literally got up at 10 to. Superb.
That's an early start. See, I've had to do 2 early shifts. I usually do the evenings, and I had to do 2 early shifts this week. Being in at 8, I had to wake up at 7 to get in, and I'm not built for that. I can't do these 7 a.m. starts. It's not me.
Real quick though, just to bring it back to wrestling, was there anything from SmackDown you wanted to discuss before we get out of here?
Oh yeah, well I guess you guys haven't really seen it yet, right? But
I've seen bits of it. We can talk about it.
Yeah, I've heard of it, and I caught a little bit of it on Twitter.
Well, it's worth watching. So I've only seen the first half of SmackDown, but it opens with Elias having been run over. So he's kind of being loaded into an ambulance. And there's a car there with a door open. It's like you've been driven up on the curb or whatever. And they've got Renee Young there as like the correspondent, like the news anchor on the spot, the outside broadcast journalist, which is great. I've been wanting that character forever. Someone to kind of be there and at the scene of various things. And she does a fairly good job of it. And they've got a couple of other cameras, and they're milling around kind of like news cameras do at the scene, like a little way back. Then they have someone goes into the car and finds some paperwork saying that it's Jeff Hardy's rental car. So something's happened. Then we get J&J Security, Jamie Noble and Jason Jordan, along with that's right. So those guys, 2 referees and 2 cops, kind of go through some police tape or something. They hold a few other people back, saying this is like a crime scene. You're not allowed to come in here. And yet somehow 2 referees are fine. They go on in. They find Jeff Hardy like passed out. They pick him up. The cop guys ask, "What's your name? What's your name?" Well, he's obviously not a star then, if you don't know who Jeff Hardy is. Surely, on his show, you should know exactly who this guy is. He's only been around for 20 years. Come on. They drag him back to the car. Jeff looks all like, "Oh man, I can't believe something happened." He complains about his head hurting. They ask if he's been drinking. He's freaked out when he sees Elias being loaded into the ambulance, and he gets arrested. So it was a weird one. It was very un-WWE. It was totally different. It looked different. It was much more. It was obviously borrowing from real life, which is not usually what they do. It's kind of what's the word? Not like sterile, but scripted, I guess, and very, very produced. But it's fine for what it was. It was kind of good. It was different.
Yeah.
It's like they were trying something. I was kind of cool with it.
The thing, overall, I don't care for the Jeff Hardy angle. It's a bit tasteless. Yes, I'll go so far to say that, but because of him being arrested for vehicular assault on Elias, or attempted vehicular assault, they had to do like a 10-man tournament for the
That's right.
The Battle Royal, excuse me, not a tournament.
Battle Royal.
For the Intercontinental Championship tournament. And I think Sheamus won it, which, what's the point? Now you just threw a monkey wrench into my thing here.
So this was the other kind of cool, like the follow-up to that. They did this outside broadcast thing. They then cut to Adam Pearce addressing the locker room. So they had like a really unnatural circle of guys around him. And he was saying, Elias has been injured. It's, not life-threatening, but, we'll see. He's obviously out of the tournament. He then gets word from someone. They zoom in and they try to make it look as real as they can. So, credit for that. And he says, and Jeff Hardy's been arrested. And then there's some reactions of that, including Sheamus saying, yeah, he's a junkie. Of course he did. What's this? His 5th DUI? It's great. So there's a few reactions, and then they set up this battle royal. The battle royal happens. There's a Shorty G angle. Sheamus wins. Then they show the graphic, and they fill in Sheamus in that spot, in the semi-final spot. And I noticed that is following on from a match that he was in.
Yeah.
So Jeff beat Sheamus.
Right.
Jeff went through, and now Sheamus has just taken that spot. So it all looks like it was totally fine. Nothing out of, just rewriting history.
Yeah, there's the shot. That's what I predicted. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Hardy comes back next week and is like, "Hey, Sheamus, you set me up," or whatever. I want my spot back, and they have a match.
That seems to be the obvious thing. Yeah. So Elias is also out. AJ Styles has said that he just wants to buy into the final, so that's cool. Brian agreed to fight the winner of the Battle Royal, and that's it. Presumably, it'll still come down to those two.
Brian and Sheamus. So in a way, we were both right, Chucks.
What did I say? Did I say Sheamus is going to win?
Yeah, because you felt like you said Sheamus had to, advance because he's the heel, and you can't have two faces. You can't have two faces, going against each other and whatnot. Yeah. So
I think I said there'd be some shenanigans as well to cover for the Hardy loss.
We both did.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think it was going to go this far.
There you go. So I still think, overall, unless something really wacky happens, I still think AJ Styles gets the championship. I still think it's Brian and AJ in the finals, in my opinion.
No, Brian's getting it.
I think Brian, I don't know. He really doesn't need a championship more than AJ does. So, also, the only other major thing is apparently WWE has reportedly banned the buckle bomb from being used.
I haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah, it stems after Nia Jax used it. No. Nia Jax using it on Kairi Sane on Raw a while back. Where apparently you could hear Kairi say, "I'm not set," I believe. So, not sure if there's any thoughts on that. But...
Did you catch on, was it Raw? Just the very start, when they were basically running down what was coming up. And then it cut to Kevin Owens in the ring. And you could still hear Tom Phillips. But he was clearly talking to either Samoa Joe or Byron, and you could hear him say, "I don't know what he wants from me." Wonder who he's talking about.
I don't know. I didn't catch that. I only caught a little bit of Raw, but. If that actually happened, that's pretty hilarious.
The camera cuts back to. Did they run down what's coming up? and the camera cuts to Kevin Owens in the ring, and it's literally just as it's perfect time. Just as Kevin Owens' music stops, and just before he speaks, you can just hear Phillips go, "I don't know what he wants from me."
Man. What else was there real quick from Raw? Kind of caught the tail end of the Street Profits and Viking Warriors doing a bunch of recreational activities, and that somehow, I guess, is going to lead to a match.
Yeah. So they played basketball. They threw some axes, and then it was golf, which ended up being crazy golf.
Bowling this week, I believe.
It's bowling this week. Great. So they went back to the arena, and MVP approached them and said, "Come on, guys, like you're better than this." So it looks like maybe they could join the MVP stable.
Maybe I just bring in the beat up clan or whatever.
The beat up clan?
A beat down clan. I'm sorry.
The beat down clan.
Yeah. Get Kenny King. Just hire him, and then there you go. You have MVP. You have Lashley.
Oh yeah, that was MVP and Lashley.
Yeah, beatdown clan.
Beatdown clan MVP with Kenny King, Lashley, Loki. Remember that. Samoa Joe's there. Eric Young and the old LAX. Has Eric Young been released now?
I think so.
I
don't know. Let me see.
Yeah, he's just been let go. Bad timing.
Yeah. I'll bring him back, you know.
Yeah, I think they could do the BDC without him.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Any other tidbits you want to bring up?
Did you catch NXT?
No.
The fight pit.
Oh, I saw pictures of it. I saw how it looked like a mini prison with the
It was pretty good, actually.
Scaffolding on top of the cage.
Yeah, it was basically like they took all the ropes off the ring, and the walls of the cage were literally, as a cage match is.
Yeah.
But it had this kind of platform on the top that they could jump off.
Yeah.
Which, oddly enough, that was where the match started.
Huh.
When they came out, they climbed up a ladder to get onto there. But yeah, it was different. I don't know whether they use it again or not, but
yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying just bring back the Lions Den for the Matt Riddle Thatcher match. But,
he's going to SmackDown, isn't he?
Yeah.
Riddle.
Is he?
Yeah.
Full time, like proper call up.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a thing on SmackDown from Kurt Angle.
Must be the
Introducing him.
Oh, that's good. Because he was used. He seemed to just be buried at the Rumble.
Yeah.
For no reason at all.
It might be another one that Vince doesn't like and just gets buried.
Yeah, exactly.
So. All right, well, we're gonna. I think that'll wrap it up here. I think we'll get out of here. Next week, I think it's just gonna be a regular show. I'll try to watch. See, I don't know. I might be able to watch Raw and SmackDown this week. I'll give it a try now that they have fans. But man, the plexiglass. It just seems really unauthentic for me to really get into, especially with. I don't know. It's just with them just trying to like sanitize this whole thing is like there's a pandemic going on, but we're not going to acknowledge it on TV. Sorry, we're also not going to give our fans chairs so that they have to sit or have to stand for 3 hours on their feet. So, anyway, we'll see what happens. I might tune into that this week, or at least get like a Cliff Notes version. And if you're out there protesting, stay safe. Really be careful out there. We'll be back next week. Have a great one. Thank you, everybody, for coming out listening. Yeah, take care. Have a good one, and we'll see you next week, hopefully. Good night.